There you go. We should now be live for a brand new episode of The Comic Den to talk about Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four, the first beginning bit of that, which I think had some interesting implications for where the MCU is going. We just got Fantastic Four first steps come out, and so I figured this would be a good time to bring up what this comic, why this comic is important with certain parts of the MCU, and as well as just the comic itself, how does it hold up. So, as it is the beginning of one of the big Fantastic Four runs by Jonathan Hickman, let's get into it.
Welcome to the Dingus Den.
All right. Well, how's your week been?
Could be worse. It was fairly uneventful. I didn't get a whole heck of a lot of reading done.
Yeah.
Didn't do much of anything really.
Gotcha.
What about you? I mean, I went and saw a movie, so
yes.
Actually, I saw two movies this week.
Well, obviously, the big one's Fantastic Four, which is the main reason why we chose in advance to talk about this story.
Yeah. And then I went and saw Superman again.
All right, fair enough. There you go.
No, Blue, we're not talking about the Bat Cow.
Bat Cow? That's definitely what we should be talking about. Come on.
I'd be down.
Spotlight of Bat Cow.
Blue, that sounds like a good discussion for an episode of the Bat Cave.
We still have never figured out what next week's thing is that we're doing. I know we were talking that we should have probably figured it out, but then we never did. So if anybody has any ideas of what we could do, I know we were talking about maybe doing something more topical, which is not a bad idea. And so we just haven't figured out exactly what yet. I meant to work with it and brainstorm it a little bit before going live, and then I just got caught up doing other stuff and things. And so
maybe we'll figure it out before next Sunday.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Bat Cow Bat Cave. Let's do it. I want to know what a Bat Cow Bat Cave includes.
It could be fairly interesting. The Bat Cow.
The Bat Cow and stuff. But anyway, yeah. What did you end up reading over this week, if any? A little bit. What is that little bit?
Did I can't remember if it was this week or the week before that I read Supergirl.
Probably last week. I think you said that last time.
This one here. Yeah. I think that was the week before. No, I actually, most of my reading, other than this, I'll get to that in a second. Most of my reading, I was doing single issues. I was getting caught up on Justice League Unlimited.
Here we go.
Which I'm only one behind now because a new one came out on Wednesday. I haven't even read any of my polls from last week yet, and I'll probably try to do that tonight. If I don't get sidetracked by something else I'm wanting to read. But yeah, I read this Jonathan Hickman. What was the title of that? It was
Solve Everything.
Solves Everything. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Solves Everything. Actually, this was not a reread for me. I've never read this before.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, a little bit interesting, but Like I was saying last week, I've never been like a hardcore Fantastic Four fan. I've read some stuff here and there, but never really dug deep. So that it's not really all that weird that I didn't read this one, but um, and I'll get more into this when we start discussing the book. But uh, I really liked it, and I'm gonna read more of his run.
Very nice.
Like I've I've noticed, like, because we've talked about some Jonathan Hickman stuff on
Mhm.
this show before, and I feel like every time I wind up reading something of his, I'm like, man, I keep forgetting how much I like Jonathan Hickman's writing. Um,
Yeah, he's good. There's not much of his stuff I've been disappointed by.
yeah, and this Fantastic Four, it was only 5 issues long, this volume, but yeah, I really liked it. Well, there was one issue I was kind of like, eh, but the rest of it, I was like, I really like this. So
Alrighty, yeah,
I
we'll
may
delve
I
into
may
it.
try to read more of that this week. We'll see. Hey
Excellent.
Matthew, hey Steve.
Yes, welcome in everybody. I'm like so out of it right now as I've
I
you
got you
know
covered. I got you
stuff and things. But part of the reason why is because leading up till showtime, I partially lost track of time
covered.
because I was working on uh, actually prepping for some stuff for this next week. Because I actually, outside of next week's Comic Con, I'm actually having 3 other shows planned between now to our next Comic Con. So other sort of special things that's going
You
on here
got
in the Dingus Den.
you got a San Diego Comic Con episode coming, don't you?
Yes, that is actually. I was actually just setting it up here so everybody can see what it is here coming up. So let me pull this up on stream for everybody to see. Then I'll share it for you here really quick as well. But just so everybody can see, that's what we got going on right there. First up, San Diego Comic Con news right there. Going to be doing this midday Tuesday at 3:30 Eastern. I have a guest joining us for that, or joining me for that, and so I'm going to be talking about the news that's coming out that came out of San Diego Comic Con. I actually have the just some of the big stuff that
There's an image right there of a book coming out later this year that I'm actually really looking forward to.
Which one is it?
Planet She-Hulk.
That one I'm very interested in since it is tied. It's being a spinoff from Imperial, which I'm reading and enjoy. And they announced some other titles spinning out of it. That's actually one of the ones I probably.
Well, the thing that really perked my ears up about it is that it's written by Stephanie Phillips.
There we go. Interesting. But yeah, this is happening at Tuesday, 3:30 Eastern, and we're going to be trying to fit it within about an hour and a half. Then on Thursday, week after it's released, we're going to be doing a spoiler review for Fantastic Four First Steps. If anybody does want to join in on this, I'm open. For me, it's just one other person playing right now, but
non-spoiler, quick review. I liked it.
I liked it too. I will say that I think it has an issue here and there, but there's a big one for me that I'll delve into it on Thursday when we talk about it. But overall, I liked it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I liked it.
And then last but not least, we should be back with our next episode of Shell Talk, where we were covering the end of the Eastman and Laird era. This is the end of City of War, which is the end of the Volume 1. But it is also, I believe, the last ever time Eastman and Laird worked on a main thing for TMNT. Yeah. So, So that's what's planned. Got a few different shows coming on up. And so I just wanted to highlight those. But before we delve into talking about the new comics, I never did share stuff that I was reading because I just want to highlight those. Let me see here. I think I mainly just read 2 things. I've gone through and I read all of the that event that you talked about. Well, you're saying about getting caught up with Justice League Unlimited, but that entails reading the event that just recently ended called We Are Yesterday. And that I thought was a very interesting event because it was because of that I was like, hey, Steve, you should go read this. And I know that's kind of like what made you go read it. And so that was the big thing I read. And then the other main thing I've read is if you remember, Marvel put out all these one-shots that they're doing of different characters against Godzilla. Mm-hmm. First, it was Fantastic Four against Godzilla. Then it was Hulk against Godzilla, Spider-Man against Godzilla, X-Men, Avengers, and Thor. I've read almost all those, which have been fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've read other than obviously what we're about to talk about. But those are the main things. I may have read 1 or 2 issues of some things here and there, but nothing major. Those are definitely the main things. So,
have you been reading that Imperial? Imperial, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Imperial.
I thought it was Imperial. Okay, maybe not.
But yes, I have been reading Imperial.
Okay. When is that set to end?
It's only 4 issues.
Okay.
And then you have some one shots that's coming.
Oh, I lost you. I lost you. I can't hear you. Can you still hear me? Whoa. Folks in the chat, can you hear both of us? Well, that's a little disturbing. This isn't Rebel Nerd Radio. We're not supposed to have technical difficulties. Very strange. Nope, still can't hear you.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
That was really weird.
Yeah, it was.
The application that we're using just like didn't recognize my mic, like just went away with my mic setting and changed it with something else, even though I didn't do anything with it. Okay, what was I saying? We're talking about Imperial.
Yeah, you were saying it's Imperial. 4 issues.
It's 4 issues, and then there's some one-shots coming out of it as well. And I think a lot of the one-shots, now that we saw what they were, are kind of like more specific one-shots to help better set up these ongoing series that we got coming out as well. Because if I remember right, I think we're getting something Hulk or She-Hulk related. We're getting, I know, like a Black Panther themed one or whatever, then that ties into what the series has announced or whatever. But yeah.
Are all 4 issues already out?
No, only 2.
Okay, so...
I know, I was debating if I wanted to get all the one-shots or not.
I'm thinking I may wait for the trade.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting because Hickman said that he's not writing any of the main titles, and I think we see that. I think their creative teams all got revealed, but he said that he just wanted to help kickstart it, and I guess he kind of worked with. I assume he worked with the creators that were doing stuff with it afterwards. So,
I'm kind of less interested in it now.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, I'm going to give some of the benefit of the doubt though, just because. I really like my Cosmic Marvel stuff, and so this is kind of their first, I guess, attempt in a while to actually try to do something noteworthy with it than just like, hey, here's a Guardians of the Galaxy book. And so that's why I'm interested in it. So I'll at the very least probably keep up with 1 or 2 of the new titles maybe, but we'll see. We'll talk about it I will be talking about it on Tuesday, talking about the San Diego Comic-Con news. As well as some other stuff. And so I need to make sure that nothing has slipped under me that I may have not caught. Because, news for trying to track down something like that. Some of the smaller stuff can be annoying to find. So, but yeah.
Yeah, Steve, Spawn, I kind of felt the same way. I'm assuming you're talking about the Fantastic Four movie.
Oh yeah. You wish you could have gone. Yeah, I wish I could have gone to San Diego as well. They always have lots of cool stuff going on. I saw lots of cool booths and stuff that they were doing, and so it's something I'd like to go to someday. Problem is, it's very expensive. Very, very expensive.
I mean, really, the only thing that I have seen from it, other than, well, I didn't even hear that from San Diego Comic-Con. The only thing that I saw, like, a video of was that James Gunn got a standing ovation for Superman.
There was a Peace Fest that happened last night, where it was a Peacemaker themed concert.
Yeah,
Which looked like a lot of fun. Who was it that was there? Started with who played there? I remember the second band. I was trying to remember the first. It was Steel Panthers playing their song and maybe another song of theirs, but they played their song that was in the first season of Peacemaker, and then he revealed the song that's going to be opening for season 2 of Peacemaker, which is a song by Foxy Shazam called "Oh Lord," and he brought them out on stage and they performed that song. And they may have also performed the Mighty Crabjoy song as well that was in Superman, because they played that right after. And so yeah, I was watching some videos. I was like, oh, that looks like so much fun. And it's like I said, it's all Peacemaker themed, and so it was funny. I'm looking forward to Peacemaker season 2. Comes out next month, August 21st.
I haven't watched the first. I've watched a couple of episodes of the first season, but I didn't finish it.
I really liked it. I actually just started rewatching it. So yeah, let me know. Have you anyone in the chat? Have you watched Peacemaker? Very curious on hearing people's views on Peacemaker if they have watched it.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. I
think it's really. I think it's definitely one of the. I'm not going to say the best DC show, but one of the best, I would say, at least of what I've watched. There's a lot I haven't watched, and I'll be honest about that. There is, because I barely watched any of the CW stuff, especially with hearing about how a bunch of it kind of goes to crap from what I hear for the most part. But anyway, beside the point, Peacemaker is worth a watch.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, the Planet She-Hulk thing. Excuse me. I only heard about that because it was on Stephanie's Instagram.
Yeah, they really need a better way Marvel is actually good with their news stuff. Posting articles and actually sharing the main news. DC, it's like they announced a couple things. Like we got announced or revealed the annual for Absolute Batman and what that'll entail, which sounds interesting. But yeah, it's interesting that DC's really bad with sharing the news that comes out of San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Or just in general, but even then I was looking at stuff as well of Marvel and DC also aren't very open about when they even release trades about stuff. And it's they should focus on that stuff more, I feel like, because I feel like that'd be the way you could try to get new readers out. Or more readers and, trying to get those stuff. Now, granted, DC's definitely been doing a better job because they've released a compact trade ones with $10 of, smaller books that are on cheaper paper. And so, and they've been doing a good job with that. And I've seen some people pick up those and stuff. But still, it's they could do a better job putting out their stuff, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, let's talk about what's on our polls. We have this is definitely a smaller week for us.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. But let's
I wonder if it's a coincidence that it's during San Diego Comic-Con week.
I don't know. The other thing is hold on, let me see if I have my I think part of it might be as well. if it has anything with it being on the 30th, with being one of those that could be an extra day of the month, depending on what month you look at it.
Maybe.
Because I bet you a lot of companies are used to you just regularly having 4 weeks to put out a book instead of 5. Such as, August next week, there's only 4 Wednesdays instead of 5.
Yeah.
September, there's only 4 Wednesdays. Next month, we don't get 5 Wednesdays. Next month to get 5 Wednesdays is in October. And so I bet you it has something to do with that, is my guess, with being used to a 4-week cycle. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like the 30th was just bare, but next week is not as bare.
No, I remember looking at this because initially I only had one title on my list. And then I was like, oh, I forgot to add another. Let's go and talk about what those are. We have on my title, originally the one that I had is the last issue of the Medieval Spawn miniseries, which this is okay. I'll be honest. I think it's just an okay series. But since I bought the first couple, I was like, might as well just go ahead and buy the rest since it's only 4. And it'll bug me if I don't buy the rest of them. So, but this is the last one with Medieval Spawn that comes out this week. Also on my list is the last issue of DC and Sonic the Hedgehog crossover. So finishing up 2 miniseries for me, which I've read all of, and one was okay. This one I've enjoyed a bit more because this one was on my list initially, and then I got the first couple issues, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's read it. Why not? And so anyway, last issue with that, which has just been fun, and then something on both of ours, and I didn't even realize this was coming out till last week when I was looking into it. Is Justice League Dark Tomorrow special.
Yeah, initially when I looked at my pull list, it was 0, and then I'm like, what, really?
And welcome in, Joy. Great to see you here.
Hey, Joy. Did you post the picture? Because I can't see it.
I did. Oh, it's because I had to reload because of the fantastic technical difficulties there. So, but yeah, there it is.
I wonder, are there any cool variants for this one? Variant covers.
Good question. Let's see here. Let's see what we're dealing with here.
There are some variant covers really cool. On the other hand, I don't know.
It is not to say that there's not any notable comics at all. Such as we do have the new issue of Ultimate Spider-Man coming out. There's a couple annuals. Next issue with the Ultimates coming out. Just none of the stuff I'm keeping up with. Personally,
I kind of like this Fernando Blanco variant. The rest of them just kind of like, yeah, okay.
Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, I do like that. Yeah. I don't know. The first one might be the best.
Yeah,
but
I don't think, has Joy been on the Comic Den before, or been?
I do not think so. Welcome.
I don't remember ever seeing Joy in the Comic Den chat room. That's cool.
Yes. Good to see you here. A couple other things to talk about, just to mention since they're coming out this week, is we have DC's California Love, which I thought was a funny play on words there. I don't know anything about what this is about. Other than, I think it's just some special anthology of DC celebrating California. I think their main reason of probably doing is some way to. Not saying that they weren't planning this before, but I feel like this is probably some way to DC's way to celebrate California after all the wildfires at the beginning of this year.
Okay. Yeah.
Not sure if that's what it's actually tied to, but that's what it feels like to me. And then last but not least, something I know you absolutely cannot wait for.
I already know what you're about to put up.
What if Goofy became Spider-Man?
Who's writing it?
I don't know this name here. It says Beling.
Okay, so not any big name.
I was about to say, a lot of these other ones, there is actually notable names like writing them. And so it's interesting that...
a very small part of me kind of wants to check that out.
I will say this. I have enjoyed all the other What If ones I've read. I've read more of them than I haven't. I'm sure there's a couple that's probably slipped by me, but I think this is the first one that I've ever, or this one. I don't know about this one. I completely lost my train of thought. What I was trying to say there, but yes. But yeah, welcome, enjoy. So saying, stop to pop in hi, or pop in and say hi. Thank you so much for being here. And yes, yeah, and see that's the thing though. Is these what if comics involving the Disney characters are very fun. They've done a good bit of them so far. I remember it began with what if Donald Duck became Wolverine, and then you got one of them being Thor. Then there's an Avengers one at one point. What if Mickey and Friends became the Avengers? What if Mickey and Friends became the Fantastic Four? What if Minnie Mouse became Captain Marvel? And so those I think are all the ones I've read.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie became the X-Men?
Huey, Dewey, and Louie. There was some fun stuff with the Wolverine one that happened. And so that one might be on Marvel Unlimited. So if you want to check that out. Also, I did a video of that shortly after whenever that came out. I don't remember how long ago that was, but that was a comic club that I actually did back then. Interesting enough. With Nicole, good friend Nicole. So
very
cool. Yeah. Zia Joyce says can see Daisy as Black Widow. I could see that too. I'm trying to remember who was who in the Avengers one. Could have been. Very much could have been. Let me pull it up really quick. Why not? What if Mickey and Friends became the Avengers? Let me try to find this here. Because it came out. Oh, it's actually available to read on Marvel Unlimited. And funny enough, this is also written by the same person that is doing the this other one. Here, I'll pull it up here for everybody to see here. There we go. That's the main cover of it right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, got Steve speechless, but yeah, here we see Minnie is Wanda, Pluto's the original Ant-Man. So yeah, quite interesting. Quite an interesting story here.
Where's Pluto? Damn it!
That's Pluto right there, in the bottom right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting cast here. You can kind of see who each of them is meant to be there in the cast. What's his name? Duxguard. Yeah, it's very much a story based around Loki. Yeah, that's the beginning page of it. So, but yeah, that's that. I actually read this one like a week or two ago when I was trying to catch up on some of the stuff I bought previously, because this is one I got on a good sale price for.
How many are there?
Of these, at least 5. I've read 5 of these different ones. I know there's one other that came out that I haven't read. So that brings up to 6. I don't know if how many more there would be beyond 6. Right, at least that's from right off the top of my head.
Maybe we should do an episode on one of these.
We maybe could sometime. We'll add it to a list of possibilities. This is there's definitely a good bit of them, which is funny. So yeah. But anyway, let's talk about our main topic of Fantastic Four, Solve Everything. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of it, what did you think of it overall? I'm curious to hear your overall thoughts. I mean, I know you said you really like it, but anyway, you want to expand on that before we actually getting into it?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I'm not like a huge. I don't dislike the Fantastic Four. But I'm not like a big fan like I am of like X-Men, or even for that matter, like to the extent that I'm a fan of the Avengers. So I don't read. I mean, like I was saying earlier, I read certain stuff here and there. Like I read some of the stuff from way back when. Mostly because I'm a fan of Doctor Doom, so I tend to dip my toe in when there's something going on there.
Yeah.
I did read a couple issues, maybe 3 issues of the run when Dan Slott took over.
I've read the first, I have the first hardcover volume of that, which I think collects the
Yeah,
first 2 volumes.
it might be
Paperback
the
volumes.
first trade. I might have read the first trade.
The first trade's only like 4 issues, I think.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't very high.
Yeah.
But and so I have actually never read this one before, so this was a new read for me. And like I was mentioning earlier, like every time I read something of Jonathan Hickman, I just get this like not really epiphany, but like just thought crosses my mind. Oh, yeah, I really like his writing. Like I knew, I'd read some stuff of his before, and then when they announced that he was taking over X-Men, I'm like, that's interesting. And then I read it when it came out, and I'm like, man, this is really good.
Yeah, he gave that era a great start, and then
yeah. And so, strangely, I haven't read a lot of his indie stuff. Couple of issues here and there, like East of West. I think I've read the first trade of East of West. But generally speaking, not really a huge fan of Fantastic Four. Picked this one up to read for this episode, and I actually genuinely really like this book. I mean, there's, like I was saying, and we're going to get into it later, but there's one issue I was just kind of like, I don't know about that one. But overall, I did like it, and I plan to read some more of his run because I just want to see what's going on.
Yeah, I think I'm going to read beyond it as well. I just read the 5 ones that we were talking about.
Yeah, that's as far as I got.
Yeah, and so I think I'm going to read more as well. Something I've sent to you a while ago, and I can send it again, was this. There's this reading order of his Fantastic Four, and this goes up to... it's interesting because this run starts at 570, and then it goes up to 588, and then stops.
He had a fairly long run on this one.
Well, let's see here. So that's only for 18, 19 issues there. But there's more that goes beyond it, which is what I was about to get to. Let me...
well, because he wrote it for a while, and then he renamed it, I think, and started with a new number 1.
Well, yes, because I think that's when it gets into Future Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Fantastic Four. Yeah, because that's what it goes into. It goes on to 570, 588, and then you have Future Foundation, and then the title starts up again at 600. I don't know why it skipped so many issues to be considered 600.
Mm-hmm.
It seems very weird. It looks like as if maybe it was counting Future Foundation, is what it looks like initially to me. But yeah, that's what it is that's when you get into all the Future Foundation stuff.
I think before I finish or before I continue reading his run, as far as I decide to get in until I just get bored and start reading something else. I think I'm going to try to... I'm sure it's on Marvel Unlimited, but I want to try to run down Dark Reign.
See, I don't know how long that seems like a big thing, and I was thinking about trying to read some of that as well.
Not sure how many issues that I'm looking at it on Comixology, and it's only 5 issues.
Oh, the main event?
Well, no, just the Fantastic Four Dark Reign stuff.
Oh, want to read those? Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think did Hickman?
It looks like those actually come before this, which is interesting.
Right. So, yeah, I don't think Hickman wrote all of it. Uh,
I know he's written some of it at the very least because it's on this Hickman
yeah, he
reading
wrote
guide I'm looking at.
the Fantastic Four one, and he wrote the Cabal.
Yeah.
But it looks like Brian Michael Bendis wrote some of it, some of the other stuff. Paul Jenkins wrote some of the other stuff. But from what I'm looking at right here, I only see Hickman's name on Fantastic Four and the Cabal. Huh, I don't know. Any case, I liked these first 5 issues of Fantastic Four, and I'm gonna check out some more.
Yeah, it's interesting because I read these a year or two ago for my first time. Probably closer to 2 years than a year and a half ago. We'll just say a year and a half ago. I remember I read it as part of one of those days that Marvel was celebrating Fantastic Four. So that would have been April 4th, 4/4, I guess. Anyway, isn't that what they call Fantastic Four Day? Anyway, point is though, I read it then, and it's interesting because there's some concepts in this comic that we're about to get into that the MCU deals with. And before reading this comic, I was like, I didn't like the stuff that Marvel was doing with it. And then after this, I was like, oh, interesting. So many of these ideas that's in the MCU and stuff, and some of the stuff I just found weird because it's stuff that you generally don't see Marvel doing. We actually see brought up in this, first introduced in this. And so that's why I feel like it's a big deal. And part of the reason I was wanting to talk about it as well is because I felt like the Fantastic Four movie was actually going to do more related with some of these concepts, at least at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But then nothing really touched on it. Sorry, spoilers. But well, let's get into it. Where I actually really like the way this opens. So the main bit, the main meaty bit, is actually the first 3 issues of this. The first, and it begins with this flashback that I really like.
Yeah.
And we see a young Reed with his father. I don't think we actually know. Do we know what Reed's father's name is? I'm sure we do, or I'm sure it's out there, but I don't think it's said. But you very much
I don't think it's said in this book.
right.
Um,
Yeah, I'm not sure what his father's name is, but yeah, we get this nice moment with a young Reed.
God dang it! It's like right on the tip of my tongue. Nathaniel.
Ah, but anyway, we see this nice little motivational moment that you can see that ultimately drives him to always want to go forward and do his best, which is cool. But then we do go forward in time a little bit, where they then start battling. Here's the main epic page of this, where they're battling these big robots, kind of Sentinel-like, kind of not, but they're controlled by the Wizard. Which, did you catch that they name dropped the Wizard? And
They did in the movie. Spoiler alert.
Spoilers. Sorry, there's nothing more than that. But anyway, yeah, they have this big fight with the Wizard here, and Reed goes to confront him, and that they go back, and we get some nice moments with the Fantastic Four and the members, which is cool. But then we see that Reed's working on this big portal, and it gets powered on, and then that's where he meets. As we get now to near the end of this first issue, there's these other Reed Richards in the portal.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And that's where I feel like we first get. I could be wrong, but I feel like, as to my knowledge, this is the first time that Marvel, they don't call them variants in this, but this is very much, I think, where the concept of variants came from. At least that's what it reads like to me. And we know that's a big thing with the MCU right now, or at least they say.
So, what are your overall thoughts on the artwork?
I would say I like it. It's not my favorite art, but I didn't dislike it.
Yeah, no, I get that. No, I liked it. I thought This was a good. It was a good team
Yeah, it
up.
was good. Yeah,
A good creative team. Let's put it that
yeah,
way.
I would agree with that. But yeah, we have all these different Reed Richards here, which is revealed that they're all part of the Council of Reeds.
Council of Reeds.
And there we can see a bunch of them right there. And what's funny is I feel like this is like literally what, for any Rick and Morty fans, it's like I feel like that's what they based the Council of Ricks also off of, was this.
We all have a little doom in us.
We all have a little doom in us. Yeah, and we'll get to that in a moment as well. But there's some really interesting things that we see that they get into. But here we see there's all these weird, different multiversal versions of Reed Richards, and so that's, and this was, I feel like one of the very first stories that Marvel really dipped their toe into the multiverse. Well, actually, I think the first. What year did this story come out?
Oh, good question.
Look that up. Because I'm trying to find when another book came out. Because this one may have just been just after.
1998?
Well, that's the beginning of this run.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, not of this run of the issue 1 of, not issue 1, but the whatever, then wherever the numbering started here. Actually, which was that one? I think
570.
Yeah, Fantastic Four 570 when that come out.
I think that's 1998.
No, it came out August 26, 2009. Okay.
What the hell's fan? Oh, 1998 is when the.
That's the era of this is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep seeing 1998 on there, and I'm like, it's not that old.
Yeah, no. Because I was trying to look at because a lot of people credit like the first big, or not the first big, but like a lot of people credit Spider-Verse for being a big thing, multiversal wise, but that didn't come out until 2014, 5 years after this. Because I was trying to think if that could have been the first time that we could have gone multiversal stuff.
So,
you know, as far as
did he write this before his Avengers run or after?
Hickman, this was before.
Okay. I don't have my.
It's interesting, right? Because this is in 2009 he wrote this, and you know, there's aspects of this comic that's very important all the way up to 2015. In that version of Secret Wars that we already talked about here.
Yeah.
Go check it out. I should have linked that episode down below. But yeah.
And then X-Men wasn't until 2019.
And then there's the final page of the first issue where we see some of the other Reeds having Infinity Gauntlets.
Yeah.
Quite crazy. So, but yeah, that's the first big thing. Is it first introduces the idea of variants that most people now know them as called. And why did it? Okay, but yeah, so we see variants there, which is a big thing. And then we get into seeing. Sorry, trying to get into the next thing. We then, in the next issue, we then get a very important thing brought up, which we also see in the movies, or in the or that I have in the MCU. That is the use of incursions, and here we specifically see a incursion happening with Galactus, and it looks like multiple air heralds he has at the same time, as we see 4 Silver Surfers there. His Fantastic Four Silver Surfer. Anyway, and different reads there as we see them all battling this Galactus with a little bit of a different looking helmet. So, but yeah, we see them go around stopping incursions as one of the big things, as they say about like, well, this is an important thing to not rip apart things. You know, space-time continuum or whatnot or whatever.
Yeah.
But then we also see a flip side of some things where they also deal with they see the farm here right there. yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah, the farm was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting idea. And then what we see even more, or what I find even more interesting, was what they were doing with this Doom stuff, which we see right here, where they, what was it they call? The Caller is a permanent control mechanism that destroys higher brain functions. So it makes them just say Doom. So they essentially eradicate all the Dooms that they can once they get to a certain point.
Yeah.
Saying that they're the biggest threat to everything, which, funny enough, we see what happens there 6 years later. And we see, like, look at all those Dooms that they just keep there.
Yeah.
It's wild. And then we also see them doing science stuff, which is, the whole thing, and why this is called Solve Everything is because Reed just wishes he could solve everything, and we see this part in play.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, after he's shown the council, essentially, all things said and done, he goes through and we then he's saying that he'd accept the offer, and then there's this big ambush that happened with Celestials. Then that gets into next issue where they battle these Celestials, and we see a bunch of them fighting against the Celestials, and then the council's in complete disarray. But then also he finds out that, well, in order to join, he has to leave his family behind, or that they all, essentially they're saying that every single Reed here leaves their family behind, but we see that this one's very much more family driven, and he decides to end up not doing anything with them anymore. So, and that essentially, I think, sums up the main 3 issues. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've forgotten, but I feel like that's the main bits there of what happened and the main meat of this. Like I said, is to me what stood out when I first read it, though, was we get these ideas of incursions and variants all there. I'm like, interesting. So this was a thing Marvel's dabbled with a bit before.
Yeah.
Which I just found it very interesting the first time I read that. I'm like, huh. So that's where they're getting a bunch of these ideas and actually leading it up to, and these were actually pieces that do lead up to Secret Wars. Interesting enough. So it's interesting to see Marvel attempting to take these ideas onto the big screen. Some places I think it works a little better than others, but it's very interesting, I think, though. But yeah, any specific comments, thoughts on the first 3 issues, though?
No, I mean, I think the first 3 issues set a really good tone for, or seem like it sets a really good tone for Reed as a person in this run.
It was very Reed focused,
and we will find out more as we read more of this run. As
we read more about Reed, anyway.
Yeah, read more about Reed. But yeah, I felt like, and you said what I was going to say. I felt like this was very Reed focused, and you didn't get a whole lot of the Fantastic Four. It was more like just the Fantastic Reed.
Fantastic. Well, we did, though, get some good moments here and there, though, scattered, I think. While it was definitely 80% focused on Reed, we did get some other bits here and there. We definitely got to see some parts of their relationship of them being like, oh, well, don't you, of Sue being like, oh, why don't be in there and so long and neglect me. It's similar to actually a big bit that we got, a character bit that we actually got in last week's read that we talked about, the Galactus trilogy, but in a different way. And so, I think that's definitely a very important part of Reed's character, is him trying to balance out family and science. And obviously at the end of it, he actually erases all the equations in his thinking room, or whatever it's called. And then we see it being a big turning point, which will be very interesting to see how it goes forward. Which definitely, I think, is a big reason to make us want to continue on reading, for sure.
Yeah.
We also do have, we got this bit of Uncle Ben and Uncle Johnny being uncles to Franklin and Valeria. And then what I actually liked about the storytelling of this issue was I like how it set up next issue, even though it wasn't part of the arc. Like it just kind of happened.
Yeah. You talking
Where
about the
next
thing
issue
with like the
where they take off, and that's what next issue is about, and that happens
yeah.
around the halfway point, I'd say, of this issue, which I found I thought that was an interesting way to kind of continue it. Is it's a different thread of the first one's kind of more about Reed, and in a way Sue as well, because he makes the decision because of how much he cares for his family. Not saying not because of not Johnny or Ben, but it's so much more of his actual family of Sue and
right.
Franklin and Valeria. But then next issue, it kind of helps balance out a little bit about Johnny and Ben together. And this is actually one of the issues that kind of made me curious about reading exactly what happened here. As you can definitely tell, it's picked up on some story thread that was previously touched on in Fantastic Four. Oh, was this the issue you didn't care much about, or was it the one after?
It felt very disjointed.
Yeah.
Like it felt almost like as you read the whole thing, it almost feels like, did somebody else write this issue? Because it does not feel very cohesive with the rest of the story.
It was definitely very much a side adventure.
Yeah. It kind of threw me off.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
Yeah.
What is
I
this?
can see that. Well, it's definitely very interesting because, as I just mentioned before, it made me curious of like what came before this issue, because we get what is it called here? The New World. Not in EW, but in U, and I don't know what exactly happened there with New World, and so it very much felt like, in a way, it was Hickman picking back up on this loose thread, where if you've been reading Fantastic Four, you'd probably be like, oh, I know exactly what this is.
Yeah, I think maybe if I had been reading and knew something about New World, it wouldn't throw me off as much, but it was just kind of like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, it is definitely kind of an interesting diversion and or side road that they took here for sure.
Yeah,
but it definitely made me very curious to check out more of it. I will say that as far as what came previously. But yeah.
And it seems like, with Jonathan Hickman writing it, it seems like he would have stopped it mid-story and go, okay, well, here's what happened. Because he tends to do that.
I don't know. Maybe also has to do something with him doing it earlier on or something. I don't know. There's definitely some interesting things here, but it definitely doesn't help because you have these characters here that are important, but they didn't mean too much to us. We got this.
That's the thing, is these characters. You're like, okay, who are these people?
Yeah, we got this. I believe this person called Banner Jr. here.
Yeah.
And then we got this other person here, which I don't remember her name.
Well,
they said this guy to be something.
Yeah, all these characters, and you're like, why do I care about this guy? Who is he?
Yeah, or this person right here.
Yeah. See, it just felt very disjointed from the rest of the trade.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. And what's interesting as well is
and like she steps on this brain. Okay, who is this brain?
Right. Right, they talk about a little bit of, like, reference it, but as far as somebody just getting into this run, you don't have any reason to care about any of these things that's happening.
Yeah.
But I will say, though, despite story things, this issue does include one of my favorite bits of art in this, which is also very brutal, and that's this shot right here, where it looks like this version of Hulk literally punches all. I think that's literally her jaw flying off there.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and it's just a big. Look at that. That's just brutal there on the side there. I was like, okay. And so, but yeah, when I saw this, it made me pause for a while. I was like, whoa, okay. Now Marvel went there literally punching off somebody's jaw.
Johnny and Ben side quest.
The Johnny and Ben side quest of some plot thread that
I know nothing about. I liked that. I liked that piece of art
right here.
Yeah, that one on the bottom.
Yeah, that's really cool. I do agree. Yeah, because it's interesting too, because they talk about this piloting and stuff too. So it's like it definitely reads as if they assume that you know what the hell New World is, but obviously neither of us were familiar with it, and it wasn't a good introduction to New World.
Right. They did not go into that issue for new readers very well.
Right.
What is all this?
It's like, what is all this? They have this fire guy. You have another version of Hulk.
Yeah, like why is Hulk in prison? What the hell's going on?
Yeah. Some Banner Jr. that they call him, and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. But then that brings us to the last issue.
The birthday party.
Birthday party, and that's essentially what it is. But I also like this art here as well. Look at that with Spider-Man and all that, which is nice. And I find it funny too. We got this big banter of Johnny being like, "Why do you want Spider-Man at your party, everybody?"
I love that. Spider-Man kind of sucks.
And I think the first thing that Dan Slott actually like ever wrote at Marvel, or at least the first miniseries Dan Slott wrote at Marvel, was actually a Spider-Man and Human Torch team up. And I hear that's really good.
Interesting.
And that's only like 5 issues. Maybe that's something we should talk about sometime. 5-6 issue miniseries or something like that. So, but yeah, it's all about celebrating Franklin's birthday party, and it very much like how the first arc was a Reed story. This is very much we get really into the character of Franklin with this story.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Like, I don't think a lot of people, like casual comic book fans, I don't think they understand the importance of that character.
He's a big character.
He's very powerful. As I won't go there. He's very powerful. I mean, he basically, like back in the 90s, was that the 90s? I think that was the 90s. Basically, like creates this pocket universe.
Yeah.
So that basically everybody that's important doesn't die.
He has the ability to do some amazing things for sure.
Yeah.
He
sends Doom off to this weird alternate world, which I thought was really cool.
If I remember right, the beginning of Dan Slott's run is about the Fantastic Four family coming back after leaving for a bit to discover pocket universes that Franklin would create.
Yeah.
Isn't that how the Dan Slott run began? I think it was that run of how that began.
I don't remember the timing, but so this whole thing happened after Onslaught. If I'm remembering right, it happened because of the Onslaught saga. And then we had that Heroes Reborn thing for a while.
Right.
And then when the Heroes Return. But yeah, that was all Franklin's doing.
Yeah, he's done a lot, and then he's obviously very important. I don't want to say too much on specifically, but there's this thing with Wade's run that is going to be very important. That kind of the movies are definitely taking a important bit from. Have you read any of Wade's Fantastic Four run?
Probably not. I don't remember having read any of it.
There's a particular moment that we get. I don't even know if I should go there yet. Tune in to Fantastic Four full-on spoiler review on Thursday.
Yeah, let's not do the spoilers right just yet.
Yeah.
The movie's only been out for like 3 days.
Yeah, I'm keeping it at that. I caught myself there. But there's certain things that are very much important with that run that I very much like this one as well. As the MCU in general was taking bits of this run, but then there's a specific moment in that run that's very important for that's relevant in that movie as well.
But in this book, we get
a birthday party.
We get a birthday party for Franklin.
Yeah, and look at all his friends there. Look at all them all together.
And then Spider-Man shows up.
And Spider-Man, yeah. We see them caring for each other. We also get We have we see the wizard's, lack of a better term, child.
Yeah, I was
That's
going to
there.
bring it up. It's like this kid that kind of jumped back to this little kid that Reed found at the beginning of the book.
Yeah, and Franklin. Well, I think it's important to say. I think it was in that first issue when Franklin also brought up of like, well, what happened to the kid? I wish,
Yep.
we could do something for him. And so this is them touching up on that little
Yep.
thread as well from the first issue.
I wonder if Hickman does anything else with this kid.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happened with him, because it's definitely kind of left open where we see this low place that the kid feels at, and how, and it also kind of makes you realize how much of a messed up villain the wizard is as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd definitely be interested in seeing what happened as well. I agree.
Yeah.
Some interesting stuff there for sure. We also do get, let's see, as you said, Spider-Man does show up. I like this moment where there's the fake Spider-Man, and then, oh no, it's a real one down there.
That's cool.
What up in Miss K saying comic books are for nerds? Well, absolutely. Proud of it.
Of course they are.
Of course they are, yeah. We'll actually, MSK is actually who's going to be joining me on Tuesday to talk about the San Diego Comic-Con news that I brought up earlier. And so be sure to tune in for that on Tuesday. But yeah, we got that moment brought up. Let's see what else there is. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else in this issue I wanted to bring up. Oh, right. We have the big end bit as well, that with a bunch of foreshadowing as well. Because we got this important bits where this sort of rift opens up.
And this like futuristic Franklin shows up.
Yeah, futuristic Franklin, which we see right here. Which is interesting, and is all to give a big warning to Valeria about the future of what the future would hold. And there are some really interesting nuggets in there, which, if we could read what this says once the thing goes away. Listen closely, because each word I say was chosen carefully. It's just for you, Val. No one else can know this. There will be a war between the four cities. The dead must not be forgotten. The future man must return to save the past. And here we see them actually referring to the other reads here, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And all hope lies in doom. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though, is I think it was this moment that definitely partially led into us being like, holy crap, we need to read more of this, because there's some interesting implications here. So we'll see what happens. Because I think Hickman definitely set up some interesting stuff here to read. And so, yeah, we'll see next week if either of us actually end up reading more or not. We'll see. But yeah, I think that pretty much does it for the contents of this. There's nothing else other than we actually see Franklin creating a baby universe here.
Yeah.
As was his powers locked away or something? Because it's interesting how he says rest and remember what you are, and here we actually see him create this universe. So I don't know, definitely another thing of me just not being as familiar with them. Because it would make sense if they tried to some way mentally block his powers to where he couldn't do anything. So, but yeah, interesting stuff there for sure. Any last words?
Looking forward to reading some more of this run.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting. Would this be your favorite Fantastic Four story you've read?
Could be.
Could be. Very fair. Yeah, so next week we still don't know exactly what we're doing. We'll figure out something.
Goofy as Spider-Man. No, I'm kidding.
Goofy as Spider-Man. Oh, come on, you want it. But anyway, yes. Well, we're going to figure out something. I'll probably get to thinking about a bit of those ideas tomorrow or Tuesday or something. We can really throw some ideas back and forth. But if there's any ideas anybody here listening has, please let us know. We're open to ideas. And other than that, we'll see everybody next week for whatever that'll be. Go check out Rebel Nerd Radio. What is your next episode?
Summer Shenanigans. It's a free-for-all Chaos will reign.
Alrighty. Let chaos win. And then on let's see here, as I said earlier, there's lots of Dingus and stuff coming out. Tuesday, San Diego Comic-Con News Roundup at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Thursday is a Fantastic Four spoiler review, and then on Saturday, Shell Talk will be talking about the final bit of the original Mirage era, and so. But yeah, until then, everybody, thank you all so much for coming by. Great to see all you people here. MSK, Steve Spawn, aka Steve number 2, Matthew, Joy, Blue at the beginning. Thank you all so much for coming by, and anybody else listening in. Until next time, I'll see you all next time.